Do it. Yeah, I mean, I've been called dumb once or twice in my life. What's going on, everybody?
Yo, yo, yo.
I like to break those phones right off the jump. Urge to say first intensifies. You can say first. You can take second if you want. You can take first, second, and third if you want. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody had a good weekend. Appreciate anybody that stopped by. Dibs on last. I like that. Lamb, well played with the chat. That's why I put you in charge of it. What's going on, everybody? I'm going to start my day off and our day off with a little bit of... That's my man Di here. Appreciate that stopping in here. All right, guys. You know, today we got an unbelievable grab bag section for you. And then we're gonna be some educators today, basically. We're gonna let you know. We got some information today that I'm 100% sure you don't know about. And if you've already read it, it doesn't count. It doesn't count until you...
Because you don't know until we've told you.
That's right. Until
what you need to know.
That's right. So we are going to do some educating halfway through the show. We're going to start with an unbelievable grab bag section.
Educate is also in air quotes. It's
a very low bar for educating. You know how like when your dad told you to make your bed in the morning? That's what we're talking about. Very low bar for educating. Let's start off today's show in a positive format. We got any shout-outs, Lamb?
I'm going to shout you out.
Hey, all right, I'll take that.
I didn't have... Whoa. It's not quite that level. Let's not get carried away. It's closer to what we're looking for.
Nice. What am I getting shouted for?
All right, so basically, if you guys haven't noticed, Nick's been streaming a little bit more independently, getting that video game stream. He also streamed, in a way, the UFC fight.
That's right.
Yeah, we're not allowed to, show anything. We didn't.
No.
We didn't get any strikes, so that was actually a big bonus on that. Like the idea that we might be able to do some more interactive things, where watch-alongs and stuff like that, and talk. Putting in a lot of hours, and it is appreciated. I really do appreciate that. You're sitting down. You're really out there doing it.
I appreciate that, Lamb. Yeah, we were worried with the UFC thing, just even putting UFC in the title, that it would somehow copyright strike us. They didn't. I dropped it already a little bit. We dropped a little bit. Mics do sound a little bit off and staticky. Oh, did we change? Did maybe I change anything with the 700?
Let's turn that down a little bit.
We'll turn it down a little bit. We can mess with some. Oh, we are.
Somebody put that away.
You're right. Good call. Okay. So I appreciate somebody. Keep going down, all the way down. How about? All right. So I'm gonna drop this up a little bit. How's that? Does that sound a little better? Paul and Di, appreciate you guys letting us know. That is actually really...
They were way
maxed out for some reason. Hopefully that sounds a little better for you guys. That sounds better. Cool. All right. Fantastic. Yeah, man, I'm trying to do some solo streaming.
So let's start over again.
All right, I'm Nick.
All right, you're all caught up.
All caught up. So like I said, trying to do some solo streaming with some video gaming, trying to meet some more people in the... kind of the Twitch community. If you ever see me on, even if you don't play the game, so much better. Good. If you ever see me on and you just want to drop in and say hi, feel no pressure to hang out long. Just come in, say what's up, watch for a little bit. To be honest with you, like we said with the UFC stream, I might just be doing that with events. If there's Oscars or anything like that, maybe I'll just tune in just because what I like about this whole platform in the first place is it's a kind of a nice way to hang out with somebody virtually. So don't think of it like a show. If I'm live and it's not this, or if Lamb's live and it's not this.
Hey, what do we got there? Ramathorn, gift and subs.
Gift and sub. Our number one supporter and our number one moderator in the chat, Ramathorn, always doing a rockin' ass job. If you ever get too wild, if you ever say a word you're not supposed to, you get in the boot. But he is a really good friend and a good supporter. I appreciate that. Di, you just got yourself the gift and sub. You don't ever have to watch commercials when you watch the show. You're welcome.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Like I said, if you ever see me on or Lamb on, just come in and hang out. It's not a show anymore. It's just a hangout. Come in, jib jab, say what you want. Just want to put that out there. And then with that being said, let's get it started. Like we always say, if we say something factually inaccurate during the show,
I believe the term is too damn bad.
Too damn bad. The show's called Too Dumb Idiots. You know what you signed up for. Let's get into it, guys, with our first positive story. If you don't know, now you know. That's how we start the show, with something positive. Lamb got a nice little kickoff today.
Hey, there you go. So Chick-fil-A.
Heard of it?
You heard of it? Been there before?
Decent sandwich is what I've heard.
Yeah, supposedly.
Decent sandwich.
Apparently, also decent workers.
Okay, I like that too. Yeah.
So there was apparently a company Christmas party raffle, and one of their workers won a car. So Chick-fil-A out there, giving out cars for Christmas. Happy, Merry Christmas.
I do wonder if it couldn't have been location, right? It had to be like a company wide.
I would imagine. Okay. Not every Chick-fil-A is giving out a car.
Okay, I would imagine. I would imagine.
But so this 17-year-old girl actually ended up winning this car. Really cool, really great. But then she took it a step further and decided to donate the car to one of her coworkers who she saw who has been riding her bike to work. She's 19 years old. She's been riding her bike to work, and they live in Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah, so riding her bike in the snow to get to work. So she decided to give it to her coworker.
That is a wonderful story. One of the things that stood out to us is that's right. One of the things that makes me laugh is we're always bragging about how wonderful Chick-fil-A's customer service is. This is taking it to a brand new level, but we do have questions on the car. They bowed it like it's a brand new car. I wonder if they kind of rolled in. We're like,
gently used.
We got you a brand new 2011 Hyundai. I was just like, I don't understand. This car looks so beat and so busted. I guarantee there's a cassette player in that car.
I have a lot of questions based on this photo because style's, kind of cyclical. Don't tell me this doesn't look like a picture from 1992.
That's what I'm saying. This car,
because of the outfits they're wearing and everything.
Everything. Not to mention, remember when
it's not like a super sharp photo either.
No. When you go to buy a car, there's levels, right? You can get like the base model and then everything after that.
Yeah, there's like usually like S tiers, like the standard SEs, right. Like standard
sport versions or limited editions, YBs.
This is 100% car rental level.
This is
like the one that's got the window crank still.
When your dishwasher breaks in your apartment and they have to buy you a new one, this is the base. The very bottom, if this thing might not have a radio in it. Like, I'm 100% sure of that. But regardless, it's got
a Bluetooth speaker in the cup holder.
That's 100%. Comes with like a Chick-fil-A Coke already in there. That's all you get. But yeah, I still a really positive story. Yeah. What you said to me was cool. And me and you had the unbelievable first instinct was the exact same.
I know. I don't know if it speaks poorly of us as people or what, but.
Our first instinct, I don't know why we wanted to shit on this person. Our first instinct was, this girl's probably rich and doesn't even need a car. That's why she gave it away. But we had to immediately... Well, I don't know why me and Lamb both had the same thought. Where it's like, that's the only way you'd ever give a car to somebody is if you're rich and you don't need it and your mom's already gave you a car, right? That may be the case, and we really don't know that. We're pulling that straight out of her ass. But I will retract that, and I will say, regardless, at her age, she already understands that wealth is something that doesn't need to be... just kept all to oneself and greedy. She immediately from a young age is already starting to give it away. That gives me faith in our generation that as we come up, if any of them become rich, they will start to give back, unlike the generation before us.
Or maybe she saw this car and was like, nah.
That's actually, I hadn't thought about that. That's probably way more likely. A brand new Hyundai, 2011. And she was like, anybody want this thing? This gray dog turd. All right, let's go on. What's our next story? Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit of, we're going to do our section here, our grab bag here, but there's got to be something good in here. But we want to say the first couple stories are kind of callbacks. If we do a story on the show and we find something, a good update to it, we like to kind of catch you guys up. That way you're not left with the last tidbit of that. So, Lamb, what's the update on this next story?
Gorilla Glue.
That's all you need to say.
Yeah, Gorilla Glue girl. So she had, I don't know if she started a GoFundMe or if someone else started on her behalf. Either way, there was a GoFundMe for her, and it said approximately $24,000. And she has decided that she's going to donate over $20,000 of that to a charity, and not just to any charity, to a nonprofit that's run by the doctor who performed the, I guess it's surgery or the procedure on her hair to save her hair.
So let's give her a shout out. She deserves it. What I said to Lamb and what we said on the show last week was there was rumors that she was considering suing. And we were saying she was going to go to lawsuit hell with the guy that sued Red Bull because it didn't give him wings.
Yeah, Jelly Beans because they had sugar in them.
The guy that sued the fireplace because he's scared of fires, right? Like all these people. And we thought we were going to be pretty hard on her if that's the route she took. She decided not to go that route. And so first off, she ended up saying that the surgery ended up costing her like $2,000? Is that what they said?
Yeah, for travel and expenses and stuff like that.
Way less than we originally.
Well, he did it for free.
Okay.
So the procedure actually costs money.
It usually costs like $13,000. That's why I was confused with that number. But again, she only cost her like $2,000 with travel. So she raised $24,000. She ended up keeping just enough for her travel and a little bit of extra money. She donated the rest of it to charity. But then we ended up noting that she ended up making some money off like her own merchandise.
Apparently, she is smart enough to have created a line of merch or things like, obviously you got a shirt with her own face on it. You're walking around with a shirt with your own face on it. That's a bold strategy.
How famous are you that when you go for a jog, TMZ's there for a picture? I'm just saying it out loud. I'm saying if I went for
in 6 months, is TMZ out there? What would you going for a jog?
Right. But I'm saying you super glue your hair to your head. A week later, TMZ knows your address and is following you around. Yeah. I don't know. To me, that's
a weird world we live in.
It's a very weird world you live in. I'm just saying somebody's sort of okay, you got Denzel. Yeah. You need to follow Tom Brady. And Mark, you're new. You get Gorilla Glue Girl. You're like, this is bullshit. Dude.
Yeah. You got to work your way up the ladder. Maybe next week you get Matthew McConaughey.
That's right. So what we thought was interesting was that she actually made apparently what they're calling a small fortune. I'm
curious what that means.
10 grand. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. So she made a chunk of money off it from this procedure. So me and Lamb are thinking, we got to kind of get in on this trend, right? Like if all she had to do was super glue her hair to her head to get some money, we got to get in on. We got to start doing things that would elevate us to that level. What do you want to do next?
So, for those who don't know, they make some nice sulfuric acid drain cleaner.
Yes.
I was thinking about maybe using that to dye my hair.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. See, for me, I'm thinking I've never been able to grow facial hair, right? Because I'm like a boy that hasn't had puberty. So I'm thinking I want to get on the staple gun challenge, right? Get like a staple gun, take some of your hair, and just jam it into my face, right? So that'd be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I like it. You got a hashtag already ready to go. Staple gun challenge.
Staple gun challenge, baby. We're all just all these like 12-year-olds that haven't had puberty yet, just stapling in their face. I like this.
Anybody who hasn't seen Jackass,
there you go.
There you go. Here's a reintroduction to the show.
Now we're about to be famous. All right, what's our next story?
Speaking of challenges.
Speaking of knuckleheads, that's right.
Yeah, speaking of knuckleheads. So this guy did not believe the Gorilla Glue Girl was being honest and serious about the severity of her actual situation.
Which is mind-boggling, first off.
For anybody who's dealt with glue.
Well said. We have pretty much dealt with glue anywhere. But yeah, I mean, in all honesty, this guy actually in I believe it was a TikTok or an Instagram video, said that he had used Gorilla Glue before and that it didn't really mess with him like that. He didn't really think it was that kind of potency. And so he was saying that she was basically being dramatic and trying to be out for money and for fame and for clout. And so
he decided to be out for money and fame and clout.
That's right. In his own way. First off, he calls it the Gorilla Glue Challenge. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think like after this people.
I don't think that Gorilla Glue wants this on there.
No, I don't. It's
right
like
up there with Tide Pods.
Tide Pod Challenge. I don't think that's what they want. So Homeboy decides his best bet is to put it in a red Solo cup, and he's going to try and pretend to drink out of it to show people that once it sticks to his lip, all he really has to do is apply a little bit of moisture, and it'll pop right back off.
Yeah, just lick his lips, and it'll be.
That's what he said. You got to lick your lips, and the cup's right back off. Well, as you can see, none of that turned out to be true. Here's your boy in the emergency room, cup glued to his face, said that it was a 4-hour surgery in order to take this thing off, said that absolutely this girl was not lying, and you like the appearance, though.
Yeah. Now, never in my life have I seen, like, karma visualized so truly and perfectly as in with this man. This guy acted like a clown and officially now looks like a clown.
He literally looks like he has a red nose. It is one of the dumbest looks. My favorite part of it, though, is the mask.
Yeah, they got to cover like the little bottom of his mouth just in case. Like, yeah, do you think he puts it on over the cup?
I don't know. One of my favorite comments was below here. What did somebody say? Somebody said, you didn't need the mask. The cup was enough. Yeah. I thought that was really funny. Like, all you had to do was, like, cut a hole in, like, the middle of the cup, you know? You just breathe out of that. I've been to college. Didn't learn a single thing, but I did go to college. I have drank a lot of dangerous things out of a red cup. Gorilla Glue was never on my list, and I don't know. It's very confusing to me.
Jungle Juice is
It never hurt me as bad as this guy did. I'm pretty sure that's why I haven't got COVID. So there we go. What do we got? Next story. We're sticking with hair products here. Is that what we're doing?
This is what I think. If you just scroll down to the video, it'll self-explain. This is what I think we should start a challenge.
Oh man, why did it go to?
It's fine. You just click on it. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Right here. This is how you're going to be starting the new haircutting trend. Right here.
Wow, there it is.
Just boom, boom. Yeah.
Greatness. Joe's in the chat with a subscription. Let's go. Man, 2 in the same show. We're close to a hype train. Hey, what's up? What's up, Cox? Well, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Here's this guy who's about to do all.
Jarrett's in the chat too.
Hey, Jared, what's up? But I'll give you an air horn too. But you don't get the same air horn that Joe does because Joe just subscribed like a badass. So this guy now cutting hair with a machete. First off,
and boom. Here's your haircut.
Let me just say, it just seems like the laziest way to ever cut hair.
You know this guy's like, yo, I got to get through like 50 haircuts today. How am I gonna do it? It's got to be a shortcut.
It's got to be. Now you like this guy having a nice name for his business.
Yeah, I think he should do a combo deal between hair and maybe like a butcher shop.
Okay.
So people trust your knife skills.
Gotcha.
And maybe call Harry Meats.
Harry Meats. Harry Meats. I like that. There's no way that could go wrong.
No. Everybody, you're like, oh, I definitely need a haircut from Harry Meats, and I definitely want a sandwich from Harry Meats. We haven't
used this button in a while.
Copyright.
We'll copyright it, first off. Second off, how good would the merchandise be for Harry Meats, dude? Top level.
Merchandise, that you're talking small fortune.
That's a small fortune. You got Harry Meats on your merchandise. That's a small fortune. It just reminds me of the guy doing the salt off his elbow. It just seems like people reinventing things that don't need to be reinvented. But I do think it's funny that
I like how he's pretending like he's actually really focusing here.
No, he's not doing shit. All right, we're done with this knucklehead. All right, on to the next one. What we got is the next story here. We got
this is a callback. Another callback.
Oh, another callback. That's right.
So
why this thing?
Just go down. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just their pull down thing.
Okay.
So Subway.
Mm-hmm. Heard of it?
We talked about maybe their tuna sandwiches not having any tuna in them.
That's right. So if you guys don't know, we did our story last week. A man in California is suing, correct? Mm-hmm. Because he had the tuna sub pulled from a Subway, given to a food lab. They DNA tested it. They came back and said there was no tuna in the tuna sub. A little bit shocking. We talked about this on the show. If you go to buy tuna from a grocery store, you can get, I believe right now, you can get 10 cans for 35 cents. It just costs nothing. It's crazy to me that you would have to cut that corner. But that being said, they've already been sued because their footlong was not a footlong.
Yep.
They've already been sued because their bread is not technically bread. It's closer to a pastry, they said. Yep. It's got filled with so much sugar. So why the hell would their tuna actually contain any tuna, right?
Yeah, no, why would we be shocked by this at this point?
But another company, Inside Edition, you might have heard of them, did an investigation because they heard that originally, and then they pulled a Subway sub from New York. Yeah. So I think that's important to differentiate, right? There's one sub from California was tested, no tuna. Another sub from New York was tested. They said it did have DNA from tuna, correct?
Yeah, they said it to a specialized lab that supposedly they specialize in fish DNA. Yep. So it's not just some, as you said, you worked at a lab and they tested. How many different tests did they offer?
Hundreds, right? Hundreds, 300-400 tests at least.
So these hopefully are people that are specialized and able to handle this. And they said they did find tuna DNA in the samples they received.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that. That doesn't say it's tuna.
Right, correct.
It says there's tuna in it.
Right, and I think this is important for me to specify. The lab that I worked in, you said 300 to 400 tests. They gave me a pamphlet when I first. It was 50 pages long. These are the tests we offer. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah,
got it.
It'll take the rest of my life to memorize. But what's important to note is that I worked at a lab that had millions of dollars of technology. Millions. We could do lead. We could do this. We could do that. We could not. This is called reverse engineering. We could not do this. This is a very, very, very specialized thing. The reason this is even a thing, it's kind of junky in the first place. That'd be like, okay, so Lamb's got his V8 drink, right? Let's say you're a new company. You're Z7, right? Or you're Z9. You're going up in level, right? You're Z9. You want to start pumping out some new energy drink or tomato juice or whatever. You're curious what they do. You could send it to a lab and say, can you reverse engineer this and tell me what they actually have? Because on the back it says ingredients, but it's not specified as far as
percentages,
right?
Yeah, proportions, all that jazz.
That being said, we had to do that multiple times at the lab I worked at. Every time we did it, we got these I don't want to use the word inconclusive because they weren't always inconclusive, but they were close. They were always like, this is what we think. This is what we think. It's not an exact science. And if that confuses you, you're like, man, they can test everything. Why can they not test if it's tuna? Think about it for a second. The only way that you would be able to tell if a certain food is in an item is if that food has markers, maybe in a certain protein, certain DNAs, whatever. But the same DNA a tuna would have, you know, maybe a cod would have, maybe, you know, something like that. So it is very difficult to narrow in on something like that.
Like, to me, I was thinking like flour.
Right.
Like, if you talk about flour, there are literally hundreds of types of flour.
100%.
And genetically or like molecularly, they're basically the same.
Basically the same.
So to test the differences is very difficult.
Very difficult. And I'm being honest, if it tastes like tuna. So my theory is that either one of two things.
Tuna juice?
Right. I was just about to say, either they're using some remnants of tuna, like almost like the scraps off the floor, so to speak.
The juice you pour out before you use a can of tuna?
Maybe just the tuna juice, and maybe that's what they're getting, and maybe they are using some kind of flaky, junky fish on the side. Or, like you said, maybe this lawsuit got slapped, and maybe they started telling their company, you know, hey, guys, we need to, you know, up the tuna percentage or something before we get sued. I don't really know. We just want to be honest and say, because the first report had none. This report said there was remnants of tuna. And Jared said he did a 23andMe and he got 1% tuna. I would send that 23andMe back, brother.
Yeah, I'd ask for a refund.
Or you should send us a video of you swimming and see how long you can hold your breath.
Yeah, I know, man.
If it's not above 2 minutes, you're a lying sack of shit. So, again, I think this is fascinating. The fact that it's gotten to the point where it's such a micro amount of tuna that you have to have a lab test it. I think Subway should probably address this publicly and up the game. That's all I'm going to say. You actually had an idea for how they could do this. How could we decide... How can we decide the...
Yeah. So, real simple.
Real simple.
We already have the systems in place.
Right. What is it?
They go on Maury Povich. Go on Maury Povich. Maury Povich has the pipeline to DNA testing.
100%. They've never been wrong.
Never been wrong. Maury comes out with his folder. Results of the test. Subway, you are the father. Boom.
You are the tuna sub.
You are the tuna sub.
Here's what I want for that episode, though. I want the CEO of Subway... holding an actual tuna, and then
like the actual fish.
Yeah, like
you understand how big those are.
That's
right?
what I want. I'm holding an actual tuna.
All right,
and then like them showing pictures of this guy like through his life, like growing this tuna. That's what I want. As like a dad of the tuna. All right. Next story here. This is a great story. Smuggler in New Zealand found with nearly 1,000 cacti strapped to her body. She was trying to cross the border, I believe, somewhere.
I love, though, I just noticed this. They have a biosecurity violation.
Whoa.
So New Zealand rolling so hard, they got a whole biosecurity task force.
Here's what I'm saying. She could have snuck that across every single border in the United States. Every time I roll up to the border of California to Vegas or California, Nevada, they say, hey, do you have any fruits and vegetables you'd like to declare? I'm like, nah, dude, that's like the dumbest question.
I'm eating an apple, and I still say no.
Still say no, and they still let me through. They'd have rolled, this lady rolled through, she'd have said no. And if they had said, what about any succulents? Polygraph would have started.
Yeah. That flop sweat would have started.
I would just want to know where she was hiding the cacti. Also, this is not her first time being popped. But okay, my question is like, I've heard of people smuggling coke and weed and everything,
animals,
jewelry, right? Like everything,
diamonds,
cactus. And you said what? This was the amount that she had was worth a decent penny.
She said about 10 grand.
10 grand.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. But per item,
about $10.
It's like going into a Home Depot and ripping off the garden section, dude.
Yeah, I got this copper pipe. Just like one pipe at a time. Like
I would like to know who she's selling this to.
She said online she was going to sell it on some marketplace.
She actually there's actually she had like an actual plan.
Yeah, it said it later. Trade Me, it's called.
Okay.
An online marketplace. Can't you just mail it then from China?
The whole story is mind-boggling. And they also said that she got caught by a dog.
Yeah, they got a cactus sniffing dog over there. They are taking biosecurity
or
real serious.
Or it's back to my theory on dog sniffing, which is like
wildly inaccurate.
They're just wildly guessing, and every now and again they just land on one, and then it ends up in the news.
Or they just like use dogs, and then they have people watch people's reactions to the dogs.
Maybe that's what I'm saying.
So somebody gets like real tense, they're like, "Yo, pull him
in." Dog sniff something. It's like, the dog to me is maybe one of the most questionable things we do in the United States.
Does he have to go to court? Like if I'm like, "Yo, I want to see my accuser."
Yeah, the dog.
The dog. Does he have to sit on the stand and just like...
I just think the dog
Do I get to cross-examine the dog?
I believe in the future the dog thing will be revoked. I believe at some point you will not see dogs be allowed to do that. Because in my opinion, it's very similar to a probable cause junkie, like, you look suspicious.
I saw some smoke coming out of that window.
Right, so we're going to search your ass. I think like all you'd have to do is get like a buzzer on a dog and just press it and make him bark.
I'm like, I always wonder, I'm like, if I had like a brick of cocaine and then like a pile of like filet mignon, and I put them in like the room and just like let the dog loose, it's probably 50-50 which one they go to.
100%. 100%. Not to mention he's going to bark at either one.
Yeah.
If
I'm
you
rolling with a pack of jerky, like...
You know what you need to do? If you smuggle cocaine, you need to put it on your back, and you need to put the beef in, like, on your leg near your junk. And then the dog starts barking, and you're like, "Yo, it's just steak." And you're like, sorry about that,
it's all
dude.
this jerky I bought.
Fucking dog's wrong again. All right, America's voted, people, and we got the...
Finally.
Ramathorn, we need you to focus up on this one. America has voted... They got the
we
most...
have a pizza expert.
That's kind of interesting, right? Like, our show is so unbelievably accurate that we actually have a pizza expert tuning in to give us the real deets. America's voted, and they voted the most disliked pizza toppings. All right. So everybody's guess, in my opinion, would be number one, and it is number one.
Yeah.
Pepperoni. Anchovies.
Oh.
Now, my dad likes anchovies. Tony likes anchovies. As an adult, I have started to at least be okay with anchovies. It's basically a salty piece of shit.
Anchovy is in Caesar dressing, and I enjoy Caesar dressing.
Right, so it's not as terrible as most people think. Hi, dog. You're going to need to lay down because you're going to break everything in the studio. But number 2 and 3, you said either what? Don't count as pizza toppings?
I mean, yeah, I don't think these count as pizza toppings. Like, number 2 is eggplant, and number 3 is artichokes for most disliked. I don't think every pizza chain has them, even as options.
I've never in my entire life, I don't think, had an artichoke on a pizza. I think I've seen it at, like, artisanal places.
Yeah, I've seen it on menus.
But I don't think I've ever even... I love artichoke, but it's just like an odd topping. I would probably like artichoke before I would like the other one that's on this list, which is broccoli.
Yeah, broccoli is not bringing anything to the
Paul,
party.
can you please tell us, on a 1 to 100...
They don't even carry those.
Broccoli? Can you tell me if broccoli's on the menu? Can you get broccoli at a local pizza place? Because I've seen broccoli a million times. Eggplant, right? But broccoli's on there, right? So broccoli's on the list. And I've seen broccoli almost everywhere. So that to me is interesting.
But then number 5 surprised you, I think, the most was pineapple.
Pineapple pissed me off because I am a pineapple lover. I know pineapple started with the ham and pineapple, right? Mm-hmm. But I have since evolved. I like it with bacon. I like bacon pineapple. I like onion pineapple. I like sausage pineapple. I like anything. It just adds a nice sweet pop, and I totally understand if you don't want it on your pizza, but I love it.
My issue with pineapple is I don't like hot pineapple. I don't like the hot pineapple. If they were to like cook the pizza and then maybe put regular like cold pineapple on top, I'd probably be much more interested in it. It's the hot pineapple. It just...
What if they scorched it with like a flamethrower type thing afterwards?
Like a brulee?
Yes.
Maybe
that could be.
But for me, it's more like I enjoy pineapple cold. It's refreshing. I like that part of it. I feel like the heat takes something away from its real like purpose.
Okay, I get you. I do like the sweetness, so that's where I'm at. First off, before we get to my next subject with this, can we just talk about the fact pineapple goes on pizza?
As long as you pair it with a meat.
Fair.
If you just want pineapple pizza, I got a problem with it.
I kind of agree with that, but because it needs the offset. That's why it started with the ham. It needs the salty and the sweet. That's like literally the whole reason ham is why it's mixed with that. Here's the issue I have. Now, maybe this is a vegan, vegetarian thing. 64% of people like pepperoni, so that was number 1. That seems unbelievably low. That's like right above 50%.
Yeah.
Are there really people out there? Okay, so now would I say pepperoni is my number 1? Maybe not. if somebody said to me, do you approve of pepperoni on a pizza? Is there really 40% of America saying no?
Nah, no pepperoni.
No pepperoni?
Like, I'm not eating it if there's pepperoni on it.
Liars!
Yeah.
Or, here's what I also
Or do you just get, like, maybe what's your favorite? And 64% said pepperoni. Then I'm, all right.
Okay, that's maybe fair. I also wonder if they're interviewing a lot of people that don't eat pizza. Yeah. That would be a problem for me, too. If it was like, oh, like we interviewed a bunch of people and it was like, yeah, well, I only eat pizza like once a year. It's like, okay, well, you don't count then. You're not a pizza eater. Right behind that was sausage. That doesn't surprise me. Those are kind of the number 1, 2. Mushrooms blew me away. I can't believe that's 3.
Shocked that high.
Shocking. The amount of times I hear people do, I don't want fungus on my pizza. It's like, 65% is what it feels like for that one. That kind of actually blew me away. But you have a massive problem with number 4.
Extra cheese is not a topping.
Whoa.
It's not a topping. You can't just be like, yo, I want like a large pizza, and I prefer a large pizza instead of a small pizza. Like, that's what this is. Like, it's already on there. If you were saying like a different cheese by extra cheese, like it's like, oh, when you get extra cheese, like it's normal mozzarella and then we do mozzarella and like pepper jack. That's different. Okay. Like, you're adding something. You can't just have more. It's like, I like a pizza with thicker crust.
I do wonder this, and I'm going to be honest because I have a theory on this. I've ordered extra cheese a lot. I'm an extra cheese guy. Almost every Saturday I do a cheat meal. I would say 50% of the time it's pizza. And every time I get the pizza, I get the same shit. Half of the pizza is extra cheese, and the other half is maybe pineapple bacon or bacon sausage or whatever. But I like a good cheesy pizza, so I always ask for extra cheese. I'm not convinced that any place in America gives extra cheese. I'm convinced they're taking my money and they're giving me the same fucking level of cheese.
I will say there is a noticeable difference usually.
Yeah.
It's not like double cheese, but I do think cheese has become one of the more expensive components of the pizza.
Agree.
So they have since scaled it down and how much cheese is like on a normal pizza.
I agree with you. So when I asked for extra, it's probably
you're getting like the former cheese amount that you were expecting.
I agree with that. Okay, so now my next question to you is, a lot of things on this list. Maybe, pepperoni's fine, sausage's fine. What's something for you that's underrated, not put on pizza enough?
Well, I got 2. One is surprisingly not on this at all. It's bacon.
That is surprising to me. I would have to venture to say maybe because every place doesn't carry bacon, but I would agree with you. Bacon to me 30 years ago was not a number 1 topping.
No.
Nowadays it's everywhere, and most places even specify. Do you want like American bacon? Do you want pre-cooked bacon? Do you want like, Canadian bacon? Do you want like,
exactly.
Bacon is an absolute number 1 for me.
But my dark horse will be green peppers.
Right. And so
we discussed this off air.
If I was going to say my next question with you is going to be, what's your least favorite topping that's not on this list? My least favorite is green peppers. And it's really funny because it's a balance issue. So my most underrated is onions. I have, for whatever reason as an adult, realized that you put onions in there. For some reason, onions actually have a decent amount of sugar. Yeah. So the little bit of that sweetness pours out. You get a crunch with maybe your meat. I think it's some unbelievable combination. I've really grown to love onions on pizza. And you say, why don't you like green peppers? I don't know. Because I like cooked green peppers in a pan on my cheesesteak. If for some reason they throw raw green peppers on a pizza, I just feel like I'm eating like that should have been eaten with like hummus or something. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't like it.
I think it all comes down to the cut of the topping. If you get like a super thin sliced green pepper where you get a little bit of that cookedness, big difference. If you get like a hunk, some of these places are just throwing chunks. I'm not a big fan of that either.
Splitting it down the middle.
Yeah, they're just like literally like, ah. Like, it is all about that. Same with the onions, because some places will have like thick pieces of onion, and it is not good. But you have a thin sliced onion. I'm more in on it.
I love a thin sliced onion.
Where you get enough of the cook.
Yes.
Because you can't put a raw item on a pizza and expect it to get fully cooked. Like while it's cooking the pizza.
That's why So one of these options was broccoli.
That should better be cooked before it goes on that pizza.
But there's no way that you putting it on there in the oven, it would cook it all. And if they're not like sauteing it or steaming it or something, it's gonna be crunchy and gross. It's wildly confusing to me that people are putting broccoli on pizza anyway. But yeah, onions would be my underrated one. Throw it in the chat. What's your underrated topping? One that every time you fight for, people don't want to put on the pizza.
Yeah, my overrated topping is black olives. This is a one, for some reason, some people are all in all the time, and they're like, yo, let's get some black olives on there. And I have to fight against it, because I do not enjoy it.
What? Okay, let me ask you this.
Onions I'd be in on.
Olives and mushrooms. Where are you on? Are they?
Mushrooms don't add anything to me.
Okay, so that's what I figured you
so
would
I'm
like.
down with them.
Well, I was gonna say people that tend to not like olives tend to not like mushrooms. I don't know why that is, but I think they both associate them with some kind of like fungusy type vibe. I love black olives. As a kid, my dad used to quite literally, like when we come home, he would open just a can of black olives and just pour them into a bowl, and we would just eat straight up. Nothing with them, no dip, no nothing, just straight up olives. I love olives. I'm Italian. I like the Italian olives, I like the weird olives. If somebody adds olives to my pizza, I'm super cool with it. Great, I'll eat it. Would I ever actually ask for it if I could pick the toppings? I would say 99.9% no, and I would almost say 100. I can't imagine ever myself saying, unless it's like for some reason it's a deal where you can one topping costs the same as 10. Yeah. Maybe I'd throw it on there, but I agree with you. Olives, I'm not sure olives deserves to be on pizza very often.
We also talked about the topping pricing.
Very important. Very important.
The fact that some things are the same price, like basically every topping. So one topping, $1.50. Like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Pepperoni, I'm down with that.
Cool.
Black olives?
Onions, yeah. $1.50? I get 5 onions for $1.50. Whole onions.
You go to Super King, last time I was there, it was literally 3 pounds for $1.
That's what I'm saying. So you charging me $1.50 for onions is bullshit. And I'm telling you, pizza places would have a better chance of me ordering more stuff if they reasonably priced it. Onions should be like 50 cents.
I know. And I'm fine with pepperoni again. The expensive toppings being expensive.
Yes.
But don't tell me I want like a pepperoni and onion pizza and that's $3.
Nah. I'm not.
But if I get a pepperoni and bacon pizza, it's also $3. There's no way those compare.
No way. All right, so let's get into our next topic before we get too down in the pizza, because we will. We miss Wawa from the East Coast.
Yeah. Oh my God, so much.
I love Wawa. I love their subs. You like their ordering system?
Oh my God, they have this thing down to a science. For those who don't know, Wawa has touchscreen and has had it 20 plus years, because they had it when I was in college.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
20 plus years of literally go in. They have a touch screen, big computer. You just order, you pick hot, cold, what sandwich you want, what toppings you want. You want this one light, you want this one like half size, like everything option, and it is so like seamless.
It's and they don't really miss. Like if you order a sub and you're like, yeah, I'll take a ham and cheese sub, for example, and you can put a little mayo, extra mayo, a lot of mayo, medium mayo. You can put a lot of lettuce. All that stuff is exactly what people want anyway, and it saves that awkward moment where you have to specify to another human being how much lettuce or mayo you want,
and then they're writing it down or whatever, or trying to remember it.
You come off as like an ass. Yeah. It's like, yo, can I get I want to take a ham and cheese. You want lettuce? Yeah, just a little lettuce. Okay. Do you want mayonnaise? Yeah, but just like a medium amount of mayonnaise. You're like, okay, dude, I got it. Like, it's annoying.
Yeah.
So being able to press a button makes it less annoying for everybody. It's like waiting. It's like it comes back to my waiting tables. If this could be an option for waiting tables would be way less like frustrating. One of the most frustrating things about waiting tables is people's modifications.
Yeah.
Is people saying to you, hey, I know that steak and potatoes comes with potatoes. Can I do the mac and cheese instead? And for the steak, can you guys go light on the salt? It's like, dude, now I got to try and explain to a guy that maybe doesn't speak English all these different things that you want. That's where the problem starts. But if there's just a button they can press, I don't give a shit. Order a million different modifications.
I know. Now I can look at it and be like, and I have it like ready to go, and it's clear.
And now you can hold them accountable when you come out and you say, "Hey, this is how I want it." It's like, well, this is what you ordered. Now
and they're like, "Oh, damn, I did push the tomato button. Sorry."
So I actually am very confused. I just read this and I didn't know this is where they have 920 stores across what seems to be like 5 or 6 states here.
That's it.
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Florida, Maryland, Virginia, and Washington D.C.
Everything makes sense except Florida.
Yeah, didn't know they had it in Florida. And it's like they skipped Georgia altogether, which is crazy. And North Carolina, South Carolina. Yeah.
They got Virginia? Yeah, they got Virginia.
So they are introducing burgers. So they're going to do burgers now.
And at first you're like, why?
Why? Who cares? What?
But we figured it out.
We were in on this.
Fuddruckers.
That's right. We decided that Fuddruckers went down. Wawa realized that there's a niche in the market, and also some of these other places that are doing like smash burgers and stuff like that have kind of started to rise as people's kind of, go-tos. I think they want to get on that. And we looked. They're using Angus beef, so it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And the biggest part of it, like we said for the Fuddruckers, you're going to be able to customize. Bro, every restaurant that customizes a burger, I get excited for. So if I roll in there and I can decide lettuce, tomato, let me get this, that, let me get some grilled onions, let me get some mushrooms. I know they have mushrooms there.
And how many drinks they offer in those cases?
Oh, dude, this is a great idea, and I really am upset that I don't get involved. They're giving away, to start this thing, they're giving away gift cards that have $780 worth, which they're calling burgers for a year, free burgers for a year.
So I guess that's the cost of, what would you guess, one a week?
I would also confuse as to why they're starting in Philadelphia, because those people complain about everything. They're not going to get.
Maybe that's where the Originals one is, so that's their headquarters. I don't know.
They bitch about a lot of stuff there. I feel like everybody's just going to complain and gripe. But I love this idea. I love being able to pick your cheese, pick your stuff. Wawa on top of the game. If somebody gets to try this before I do, please let us know. I mean, Wawa needs to start like a grocery store, man. I mean, that's just what it is.
I think I can roll in there, get a burger, get some like Doritos, get like whatever soda I want.
I love it. I love everything
like
they do.
$10 or whatever it's going to be.
I love everything they do. Next story. So when you guys
Not to ruin your childhood, but
when you were a kid and a game didn't work, what did you do? You blew into it. Why? I don't know. You thought that maybe it would somehow clear the dust. You thought
because I was a scientist,
right? Maybe you thought that somehow it would cool down the disc inside and it would, I don't know. But
dislodge some things.
Let me ask you this. Were you crazy? Did it work?
I would say 80% of the time it worked instantly.
I would
say of that 20% that was left, one more time, 99% worked. And then there was like maybe occasionally the game was broken.
You had 2 or 3 blows to an old Nintendo or whatever. That shit was coming back to life. Yeah. I have no idea why, but I don't care where it. But now they're saying that this blowing thing is a myth. They came out and scientists tested it and said that that doesn't do anything.
I don't care what scientist says this. This is one of those ones I would fight to the death. You can't tell me that dust doesn't accumulate on those things and that blowing air across it doesn't potentially remove that. And I also think your breath, because it has some moisture in it, maybe creates a little bit of a better contact. You know, sometimes like if you lick your fingers and touch a battery, like you're getting better contact.
What they're saying is that what actually was happening was when you originally put it in, it wasn't making good connection. So you taking it out, had you not blown on it and just put it back in, it would have probably worked the same as you blowing it. Nah,
not buying it.
Nah, I don't buy it either. They're saying that the dust is not a real thing. They're saying it's more damaging than helpful. No way.
No way.
I'm arguing.
I'll fight you on that one, scientist.
Here's what I also know. They didn't play the game. No way they played the game.
No.
My money is on blowing the thing being a pure placebo. I just wanted to throw this out there because this is like the other myth that we talked about debunking, where if after you run, you're supposed to stand straight up and not put your hands on your knees, and that turned out to be junk as well. This is mind blowing to me, and I would love to know if this is actually true. But anyway, let's get on to our big story of the day here. Lamb brought this to my attention, and I thought, for me personally, this is unbelievably relatable. I also felt like I know a lot of people that this would apply to.
I don't know many people this doesn't apply to.
Fair enough. So what's the story?
So they've recently come out with this, I guess, designation for a thing that's been happening for a long time called revenge bedtime procrastination. And they are saying it can rob you of your precious sleep time. The basic idea is at night, you argue with yourself about going to bed. You want to take control of your life. You don't have a lot of control in certain things, and therefore take control of when you go to sleep. So you stay up, you get to use those moments and exert your control, and that ends up just being a domino effect of like you get less sleep and therefore, or worse sleep, and then it goes into the next day and you're more tired, and because of it, your day is awful and all of those things.
So my first thought is, as opposed to the blowing into the Nintendo cartridge, I'm 1,000% sure this is right.
Okay. As soon as I read this article, I was like, damn it.
Yes, right, damn it. One thing that sticks out to me is it reminds me of kind of the psychological thing that people will do as to like, if somebody's been through something in their life, well, I shouldn't say something they've been through something, but let's say they feel like their life is out of control or their life is heading in a direction which they did not choose. you could see people do crazy things like dye their hair or get a tattoo or things like that where they feel like they're taking at least control of their body or their hair or their beard or a piercing, something that maybe is like, at least this I can control. This screams that to me is I don't have control of my schedule anymore. I don't have control of a lot of aspects of my life, maybe where I work, maybe what time I have to work. So the one thing I can control is that I'm allowed to stay up at night because I'm an adult and I can do what I want. For me, it resonated with me. I worked at a restaurant for a very long time, and one of the things that I struggled with was I would get off anywhere from 10, 11, 12, whatever, and maybe later, and I'd come home. And the last thing I wanted to do was come home and dive into bed because it's like, man, I don't want to throw the rest of my day away. And for me, I told you, especially for me, I live by this philosophy, and maybe it's just the way I was raised. Maybe it's my parents. I am installed with this almost fear of live every day to the max, right? You only get one life and all this jabber. And so for me, it's like I don't want to go to bed. I want to live every day until the very last second. And sometimes it's hard for me to pick that very last second. The other thing I said to you, so what I would come home is from work. I'd come home at, let's say, midnight, and I'd be like, man, I should probably get to sleep in the next hour. But it'd be way more fun to maybe have some drinks or party or play some video games or maybe turn on some goofy YouTube videos with my buddy, watch sports replays, whatever. And I'd end up doing that till 3:34 in the morning. Then you go crash, then you wake up, it's like noon or 1 the next day, and then you got to be at work at 3:30 or 3 o'clock, and you're like, shit, let me get my stuff together. And this was always the argument in my head, which was I valued those hours more than I valued the 9 a.m. to 12 hours. For me, there was nothing exciting happening from 8 a.m. to noon other than me having like coffee and eating breakfast and maybe watching some junky reruns. Nighttime was alive, and I think that's a lot of people feel like that's when life is more enjoyable. And I also think there's something about you've already done everything, right? So you've already done everything in your day. There's no pressure to achieve anymore. There's no pressure to get things done. In the morning, when you wake up, let's say you have work at 4 and it's 9 o'clock in the morning, it is hard to go do something enjoyable.
Yeah,
It
you're like, I should probably do the dishes. I should probably get the laundry done. I gotta go to the grocery store. I gotta do these things.
It's business time, right? It's business. That other time is fun time, and I find this unbelievably relatable. But I'm not 100% sure how you fix it, especially because we watch so many people in our generation work jobs that require them to stay late. Right? So it's not like it was when we were younger.
I think it's just as bad. Like, I'm thinking about me as like being a teacher and having to be up early. Like, again, it's the same thing. I get up, I get take a shower, I get to work, and you go and you go and you go and then you go to the gym and then you cook dinner and you do these things and then you finally get to relax. And then say it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You look and you're like, I should probably get to bed to 10.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I got 2 hours.
Yeah.
You do that, 10 comes and you're enjoying your relaxation. You're enjoying being able to watch a show. You're like, oh, okay, I'll watch a little more. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
You're getting that true enjoyment. And, like, you don't want to give it up.
Yeah.
To go, because the second you go to sleep, you know you're getting up for, like, not fun things.
Right, 100%.
We've talked about this. You do not like getting up in the morning.
I don't. I hate it.
But for golf, you love getting up in the morning.
Love getting up early for golf. Yeah, it's just right because
it's a fun thing,
and also because there's an implication that I don't have to achieve that day. I get to enjoy that day, and I think there's a very different switch in that mind frame. And that's partially why I've always tried to chase jobs that I will enjoy because a very long time ago I read somebody say that if you only look forward to Saturday and Sunday. Representing your off days, you only look forward to your off days, then you're throwing away 70% of your life, right? Yeah. And that really resonated with me because it was like you should at least look forward to a lot of your days. Maybe some days are going to be more stressful. Maybe work's going to be a grind some days. But if you don't look forward to any day that you work, then most days, 80% of your days are kind of a wash. And this I thought was a really good quote was, revenge bedtime procrastination is just a cry from overworked people. And they're actually trying to put off bedtime just a little bit so they can reclaim something for themselves. And at my last job, eventually said, I don't want to work here anymore. And me and my boss got into it. But one of the things that I was most disgruntled about was that for the first 3 years, every year I only got 5 days off. And he just could not comprehend why that bothered me so much. But I felt like my entire life had been taken and somehow inserted into this business where I was just now a robot functioning for him. And I felt like I didn't have my own life. I didn't have my friends to enjoy. I couldn't go see my family. I couldn't take a cruise or a vacation because if I took a 4-day cruise, guess what? I'm not coming home for Christmas. If I take 3 days to go to Yosemite, guess what? I'm not, traveling for that family vacation. It's like I didn't have everything was taken from me. So that really resonated with me. But again, I don't know what the issue is. I mean, the solution is, I should say. I don't know how you, and you also, mindless scrolling, like through the phone, right? Yeah. That's another thing. People are like they're so apprehensive about going to bed because going to bed means going to work. Yeah. Right? Like that's the direct through line.
You know the second you close your eyes and fall asleep, basically you're going to wake up and it's going to be time to work.
Right, for sure.
And it's just going to be
100%.
Not fun.
100%. So, like I said, I'm not 100% sure what the actual answers are. But again, you also told me is that like circadian rhythm issues, which is that we sleep better when it's dark.
Like most people. There are some people that are just night owls and like that's their body and whatever. But
would you say most people convince themselves they're night owls?
Yes.
I would say that's a big issue.
I would say I convinced myself I was a night owl in college and all that stuff. And I've come to realize I'm much more of a morning person than most people are.
Yeah.
And I actually don't enjoy that I'm a morning person.
Right.
Like I almost fight it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
but I sleeping in, right?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be Saturday. I'll wake up at like 7 a.m. And I'm like, I almost feel obligated to like stay in bed.
Yeah, right. Because 7 a.m. doesn't seem like a party hour, right? It doesn't seem like the time to like go enjoy.
Get up, have some breakfast.
Yeah.
Nobody else is around, so it's like kind of sucks.
It kind of sucks. I couldn't agree with that more. And for me, I do struggle. I struggle with that same idea. And it's like on the few times that I have gotten to bed at 10 o'clock and I wake up at like 7:30, 8 the next morning, there's a really good feeling. It's like, man, I can charge my day. I can take on my day. But what starts to happen is that whole cycle starts to happen. Now I'm up at 8. I'm tired at 9 o'clock. Right? And so you start to feel like now I'm losing those fun nighttime hours where you used to. I think that's just part of being an adult, but I also really do believe between phones and jobs and all these different schedules, I believe that some of that has been taken. That's just us. I don't know. I think it's a fascinating discussion. If you're somebody that has trouble getting to bed at night and you like staying up those 2-3 extra hours, just think about that's probably the reason you're doing it. You're trying to take something back for yourself. And I don't know. What would you say a solution would this be? To try and make some more time for yourself somewhere else, right? Or to...
Yeah, I mean, if you can try and like maybe even just try and find more hours other places. Like make your hours more meaningful. I think the real thing where this comes into play for me is on the weekends. If I end up staying up late on like a Friday night and then it rolls into a Saturday, now I've given up actual fun hours.
Right, for sure.
And that's where I think the problem is.
Yeah.
Like, understand that, like, maybe there's less fun to be had during the week, but you can still have fun, and then just maximize it on the weekend.
Yeah. I agree. Get up early on the weekends and go kick ass. Like you said, go maybe get golf. You get a golf round in or get something fun in. Take a hike, take a bike ride. Get up, do that, and then come back if you want to take a nap. Take a nap. You know what I mean? And then enjoy your night. I think that's a really good solution. Real quick, finally here, the NHL is going to try something kind of cool here. They are going to try in Lake Tahoe to have the Avalanche and the Golden Knights and the Bruins and the Flyers. They're going to do an outdoor hockey game. This is kind of just a replica model, but they're going to try and do it right next to Lake Tahoe. I got a little excited when this report came out. I originally thought that they were going to do it on the lake. I thought that would have been way cooler, but they're going to do it by the lake with the beautiful scenery. Every time they have done this recently for these outdoor hockey games, it has brought in a lot of viewership. People have really, really enjoyed it. It is like almost bringing back the natural feel of a hockey game. It makes me laugh thinking about like an NFL game trying to be had like in a like in an alley or like in a.
I was thinking like a high school like just field out like we set up 4 cones and we call it a day.
Or like a basketball game at like Rutgers Park or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think this is really, really cool. I think this would bring an unbelievable amount of eyes to the TV. I love this idea.
I'd love it more if they played on the lake, but that's probably not an option.
I know. I'm really hoping.
Maybe it's got to be lakes in Canada they could play on or something like that.
I would imagine even like that Lake Tahoe's got to be frozen right now. But like I said, I don't know. I'm sure like you said probably be halfway through the game somebody falls to the ice. Look, dude, sorry, dude. That's a penalty. You're in the box.
Yeah. Just skate around it. They've set up some cones around the hole.
Oh, we lost the puck again. It's
Get
underwater.
to the hole.
Yeah.
All right, get a new puck.
All right, get Ovechkin to swim in there and get after it.
Like right in front of the goalie, there's like a moat.
You got to get like a Canadian or Russian to go after that puck. Anyway, that's all we got today, guys. We're going to cut it a little bit short today, man. Let you guys get back to enjoying your Monday. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like I said, if you guys see me or Lamb on privately, we're probably just hanging out. We're come in. Don't feel like it's a need to be like it's not gonna be a show. It's just gonna be us bullshitting. But other than that, man, appreciate everybody hanging out. Hope everybody has a good rest of your week. And once again, I'm Nick.
I'm Kevin.
And we are the Two Dumb Idiots. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us.
Yeah, I mean, I've been called dumb once or twice in my life.
Try this rate thing.
Hey, guys, thanks for following us along. Another good clip here. Make sure to catch us out on Twitch and hit that subscribe button right here.